Everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Pine Podcast. Interact with us on SoundCloud at The Real Pine, on Twitter at The Pine Pod, on IG at The Pine Podcast, and on YouTube at The Pine Podcast. The name says it all. Welcome back. I'm here with my boy Jay. What's good, man?
Jay Hart, real name, no gimmicks. I'm in the building, and we peeking on that, and I don't even care.
Super.
I ain't care.
Don't care.
Something.
All that. We're bringing you original content weekly. So I just want to know if you got any local sponsors you want to shout out, Jay.
Shout out Rooted Resistance, rootedresistance.com. That's about it for me, I think.
Did you see Rooted Resistance new logo? And how we had an influence on what their design was going to be moving forward?
Fire.
It was kind of dope.
Shout out to Rock.
Who's Rock? Give me some more info on Rock.
Rock is the root of resistance. Yeah. Rock's currently a doctoral student at Florida State University, getting doctoral in their doctorates in sports administration, essentially. And yeah, fitness guru, my homie. Yeah, Rock is great.
Rock, keep getting them checks. Jay, we're gonna jump right into it.
Let's jump into it, man.
March is always big for one specific reason, and that specific reason is the March Madness tournament, where college students from all across the globe come and play in different locations and showcase their talent for the upcoming NBA draft, and also representing their universities. How do you like March Madness so far, Jay?
So far so good, man. If you're looking at our bracket, my first round was pretty trash, but so far, I think the only ones I got wrong for the round of 32 are I had Utah State and Washington made it. I had Cincinnati and Iowa made it, and then I had Ole Miss and Oklahoma made it. And I had Syracuse and Baylor made it. But going into the Sweet 16, I am so far perfect.
I'm going to give a shout out to you. Well, I'm going to jump to the big picture. Who do you have winning the whole thing?
North Carolina.
You still got UNC winning the whole thing.
Got Tar Heels winning the whole thing.
You know what? A team that's very similar to the Tar Heels, in my opinion, the Florida State Seminoles. That squad looks very deep. And they look like a congealed unit. Like they play together. And I always like that when I see tournament play. We have the stars and we have the draft prospects that we know are going to come up in discussion in April. But Florida State looks really solid. And they look really solid specifically when matched up against the young legend, John Morant. Did you happen to catch any of that game?
I saw a little bit of it. I saw that Ja tried his best.
Dropped 28 points. I think he had 8 assists. And we know that when you go to a small school, or not like a huge school like Florida State or a Duke or a UNC, if you come from Murray State, it's not a Power 5 conference. Yeah. So if you go to a school like Murray State, you're not always going to be blessed with extreme talent. I just found out where Murray State was located.
Is that Murray, Kentucky?
Yeah. And so, like, you asked that question, like, is it Murray, Kentucky? So, I got to give a shout out to Ja Morant for taking his squad, who was really talented, and taking them as far as he did in the tournament and put it on the showcase that he did for March Madness.
Yeah, but, Florida State still put their foot in their neck.
They did, and they had a specialized game plan against him.
Yeah, they did that aggressively too.
So what was interesting was Florida State's head coach stated that Ja Morant was virtually unstoppable and unguardable.
So you beat everybody else.
Exactly what they did.
That's the Zion Williamson plan too, man.
Okay.
You got that's my Zion plan, but you got to start RJ Barrett too. So if you stop those two, let those two do what they do and stop everybody else, you might be able to beat Duke.
Because Cam Reddish seems to disappear every time I watch Duke play, and I'm not sure what's going on. But it seems like the NCAA has a good problem this year with a lot of stars. And these stars, like you stated, include Ja Morant, of course, Zion Williamson, who's projected to go number 1 overall. R.J. Barrett, who's a solid prospect. I really don't know. I really haven't seen him. I've seen him do his own thing by himself for a small period of time. But when Zion's not on Duke's squad, they seem to have a lot of issues.
Yeah, and I was just literally debating with somebody about this because I think that R.J. Barrett might be the most well-rounded player in college basketball currently, and probably the most well-rounded player heading into the draft. But that's just my perspective, just based on the fact that he's 6'7", 6'10" wingspan, averages 23 a game, 5 assists a game, can pass, can shoot, play defense, has the size and the length to play defense in the NBA level. So that's my perspective.
Okay.
But people definitely disagree.
Yeah, absolutely. That's flagrant right now, apparently, because of watching tournament play. But that's a really good point. I think he is very well rounded. I think Ja is a little bit more explosive than RJ, and I think
and a better passer with better vision. But he's also 6'3".
Right.
So I think where I'll give credit to the person I was debating with. Talk about RJ's efficiency, and it's not very high, but it's also because RJ has the ball in his hand probably 60% of the time in the game, because they need him to have the ball in his hand to be able to be effective in their offense that they pseudo run. So he also plays the most minutes of anybody on that team too. Like the man in a 40-minute game plays 35 of the minutes.
He does.
He's always on the court.
He does. It's going to be interesting to see where the lottery picks fall in this upcoming draft. I think I haven't been this excited about a draft in a long time, particularly because I'm a New York Knicks fan, and we have been trashed for so long that if we are able to get any 3 of these guys, I think there'll be a solid piece. Right now,
no, for sure.
Now,
I think for sure. I think that. Well, actually, before we even get into that, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Did you do a bracket?
I did do a bracket.
Okay, what does your bracket look like right now?
My bracket, I'm number 1 in my overall bracket. I still have Duke and Tennessee going at it in the Final Four. I felt like Tennessee was going to beat. No, actually, I'm sorry. I got Duke and UNC going at it in the championship game. I got Tennessee, UNC going at it, but the Nevada pick hurt me. Nevada really disappointed me. I saw Nevada play last year, and the Twins on that squad did really good, and they just got beat, and it broke my bracket.
I only had them winning 1 round.
Okay.
So, what upsets did you have? Because did you have Liberty making it this far?
No, I did not. I did not have Liberty making this far.
Yes, I did. I did.
The first round,
I had Buffalo making this far. I had UC Irvine making it this far. Yeah, I made some good sleeper picks, man.
Well, I got Buffalo making it this far. I picked Buffalo. Texas Tech. That wasn't really a upset pick. The Murray State upset pick, which got a lot of people. I got that one right.
I got that right too.
Let's see.
I've seen Florida State play enough to know that, I'm not going to bet against them yet.
Right, and Florida State, like I said, eye test wise, they look like a duplicate of UNC. They just have a lot of like individualized players that can do something really, really well, and it looks very good when they all play together. People said that Ja Morant would struggle against Florida State because of Florida State's height, and they really kind of like full court pressed him the whole game, and he was able to showcase his passing abilities, but they couldn't do that for 2 halves.
It was kind of like Trae Young last year. Like, you have this great talented guard, and then everybody else is kind of just role players, but they only go as far as the role players will go. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like when you go against a more talented team.
Right.
So
shout out to Murray State for doing your thing.
I will tell you that I have not watched enough SEC basketball this year, so I did not know Auburn was as good as they've shown to be. So,
and that is a good point.
Wrong on that one.
That's a good point. Auburn played really well last night. I forgot the kid's name, but he dropped 42 points last night for the Auburn Tigers, and their coach just was like repping SEC basketball like all day. Like SEC basketball doesn't get enough play at all. But I'm not sure because Tennessee's doing really well. Georgia doesn't hold it down in the basketball arena, but he was really like going hard in his interview.
You're listening to The Pine.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, they surprised me. So I just don't. I'm to be completely honest. Just don't know enough about Auburn's basketball team to really have had any idea that they're going to be this good. So I'll take the L on that one. But I'm still feeling very confident about where my bracket is. So
shout out Jay. There is something trending right now, and it's a Jordan Peele movie. It's the Us movie. Are you interested in seeing Lupita Nyong'o in a horror film, as well as Winston Duke in a horror film about themselves trying to kill themselves? Are you interested in going to see that?
yeah, I was gonna go see it today, but we're doing this, so yeah.
Well, I'm sorry. You got obligations, Jay.
This is the time frame I was gonna go see it, man.
Yeah.
But nah, man, I'm in here with you, man.
Yeah, your
I'm in
pine
here with you.
obligations supersede any movie, so you can come back and report to what happened.
Yeah, I'm here with you, man. So so I guess I'll see it next week.
I'm excited to see it. I'm probably gonna see it on Monday and check it out. I'm looking forward to checking it out. I think it's gonna be a good film. Jordan Peele, he hasn't missed yet. Like he hasn't put out anything that he's missed on yet. So I'm looking.
So far, so good. So it apparently opened to $70 million opening weekend.
I did see that. So I'm definitely gonna check it out on Monday. Another movie that's coming out, the Dora the Explorer movie.
I think nothing. I haven't heard of this. You're enlightening me to something I didn't know about.
I just saw a Dora the Explorer movie trailer and it looked kind of whack to me. Nickelodeon is sponsoring it and they dropped it because the Kids' Choice Awards just happened recently.
Yeah.
Do you think a Dora the Explorer movie would translate well onto the big screen?
I have no idea. The only thing I know about Dora the Explorer is just from memes. So to be completely honest, I have absolutely no idea about what actually occurs in that show. But I mean, they've turned Nickelodeon shows into movies all the time, so that wouldn't surprise me that much. So yeah.
We'll see. I'm not gonna give it. I'm gonna wait for it to come out on Netflix, but I'm probably not gonna watch it. I was a big Dora the Explorer fan.
If you're not gonna watch it, why you waiting for it to come on Netflix? See, you telling on yourself.
Yeah, I'm not gonna watch it. I'm gonna just wait till Netflix because it looks kind of weak to me. Like Dora the Explorer is carrying knives around and stuff.
What?
Yeah, you gotta watch the trailer. If you watch the trailer, Dora the Explorer is carrying knives. She's like an action hero. It looks like they try to combine Dora the Explorer with Tomb Raider.
Oh, that actually sounds kind of dope.
Okay.
Why are we playing? That sounds kind of dope.
I don't know, man.
It'll be like Spy Kids, but Dora?
Yeah, it's like the Spy Kids. Like, you remember the Dragon Ball Z movie that came out? Like, they were in high school?
No,
that's what it feels.
I don't.
Oh, good. Forget about that one.
I blocked it out of my memory that even existed. I didn't even make an attempt to see it.
Well, just look for it on Netflix.
I'll tell you, the Nickelodeon property I'm waiting to see is this live-action Avatar remake.
I'm done with Avatar. Avatar, they let me down every time.
The original writers, the original people behind the Avatar Last Airbender are making a live-action version for Netflix.
If it's for Netflix, they probably won't miss because Netflix has been putting out some gems recently.
The original people too. Like they didn't have anything to do realistically with the M. Night Shyamalan movie either. So
this is also true.
Yeah. So that I'm excited about. Bring that back. Get that in the bag. I'm ready.
We're gonna switch to a little more serious note real quick.
Where?
Robert Mueller released reports in regards to Donald Trump's cooperation with foreign powers during the 2016 presidential election. The questions that could be answered in the reports are, did he use his platform to seek business deals with Russia? Did he obstruct justice by firing FBI directors? And did he try to cover it all up? The report has been released, and now we're pending to see the results. Jay, how do you feel about this saga that has transpired in our nation?
I'm just ready for it to be over at this point now. Because I think everybody's in this position now. This needs to stop just kind of hanging over everybody's head. And how do we now move forward going as we end this current administration and get set up and situated for the next big presidential run, which is going to kick off next year, right? So, well, no, wait, what year is this? 2019? Yeah, so this year, this November when things really start popping off. So, yeah, I think everybody's just ready for answers and to have some closure with this. It'll be interesting to see what actually comes out from this and to get what Robert Mueller found out and that transpired and what evidence he has to see how Congress is going to navigate this going forward.
I just hope it's not political, and I hope it's like this happened. It was illegal. What is the penalty? Like, that's where I'm at right now with the whole thing, and hopefully,
I realistically think it's going to be. We're not going to find out anything that we didn't already know,
or didn't feel, right?
Yeah.
Or didn't suspect. So,
and nothing's going to happen while he's still sitting in office.
This is true.
So
2020, everybody needs to gear up. Shout out to everybody. We shall see. We're going to switch back to sports. We talked about John Morant. We talked about Zion Williamson and R.J. Barrett. Based on what you've seen so far in the tournament, how do you feel about the current draft rankings? NBADraft.net has Zion Williamson going number 1 overall to New York Knicks, John Morant to the Phoenix Suns, R.J. Barrett to the Cleveland Cavaliers, and I'm going to just stop right there. We got Hashimura, we got Kobe White, DeAndre Hunter, and Keldon Johnson, Cam Reddish at number 8. How do you feel about these rankings so far?
I think they're spot on right now, especially the top 3. I think that's if it plays out how it plays out in the draft order lines up similarly to that. I think that's exactly how it's going to
go. Would you want to see John Morant in a bigger market?
No, I think that a team like Phoenix is a perfect fit for. That's a team that's been looking for a point guard and looking for stability in that position. Put him with a Devin Booker. Put him with Ayton. Like, I think that is a good nucleus and to build around. The Knicks need a Zion to really make a splash. And again, give it more talent around Dennis Smith, DeAndre Jordan. They can keep him. Kevin Knox, and then whatever free agents they might be able to lure to come to New York. And then Cleveland needs some rebuilding, right? So you got Colin Sexton, who's coming into his own, be able to run the point, and then you add an RJ to play the 2 or 3, and I think you're in good position to move forward with that team too. So
that's great analysis right there. What's interesting is anything can happen in the draft lottery, and there's so many variations of teams that we can see next season. I'm looking forward to it.
The Lakers are going to get the number 1 pick, and they're going to pick Zion.
And that would be ridiculous. That would be completely ridiculous.
I'm going to be upset. But you know what I do want? I would like to see Atlanta get one of these top 3 picks.
I wouldn't mind R.J. Barrett going to Atlanta.
That would just remake the whole entire organization.
R.J. Barrett going to Atlanta would be a good look. I definitely think they got 2 draft picks possibly, and if they traded up in the first round to get one of those guys, I think it would be smart. I think it would pay off. I'm looking forward to them doing that. There's so many variations. It's virtually impossible to really pick, but I still think Zion's going number 1 overall.
Just depending on who that team is, because if it's Phoenix, then I don't think that he would go number 1.
I agree. We shall see. LeBron James has missed the NBA playoffs for the first time since 2005. Is this the end of LeBron James, or is this just, as you say, par for the course?
I think that this is just an off year, and I think it's a combination of a lot of things. He is at fault, but he doesn't own all the fault for that. But that team should be a playoff team, at least at the bottom part of the Western Conference. So he definitely has to take ownership of that, and I think he is taking ownership of that. But I also think that he's banking on getting top tier free agents to come play with him in LA, and he may not be able to bank on that, and that's going to be the challenge this offseason to see what happens with that. Because if they don't, let's assume they don't get those free agents, what changes next year?
just whoever they get in the draft. And that's why I think the Lakers not playing as well as they could and kind of tanking for a better draft pick makes the most sense, because they're not. If you go to the playoffs and you exert LeBron, you're damaging the asset, right? But you're also building experience for your young players. But if you don't, like you said, if you don't get a free agent that you need, then you're back at square one again. So they just need to shut the season down and look forward to the draft. And they need to execute operation number one, bring that power forward in New Orleans to Los Angeles.
I just don't see that. I just don't see that happening unless they trade all of their players. Pretty much. I just don't see that New Orleans is going to make that deal. I think that bridge has been burned. And it'll be interesting to see how much tread LeBron has left, because I think this is probably the most he's missed any games this season, and part of that has been the quote-unquote load management. The other part has been like groin injury and those kind of little nicky-nack injuries as you get older. I know he puts a lot of money in his body every offseason, so it's not going to be lack of effort or investment in himself, but it'll be interesting to see how that plays out, because again, when you're looking at even Lonzo, right? Why there's so many weird question marks around that team. Why Lonzo missed so much time with a sprained ankle?
Correct.
And now you saw the NBA is now, not the NBA, but the Lakers now, questioning whether or not the shoes that he wears, the big baller brand shoes, are the influence on that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just so many weird little things happening that this offseason is going to be very interesting to see how these things are navigated, to see how that team moves forward. They haven't made the playoffs in 6 straight years. So.
And people are calling for Kobe Bryant.
People are calling for a new coach, new everything, right? Well, they're calling mostly for LeBron not to be there. Right. So now what happens?
This NBA offseason is going to be fireworks. I guarantee it. It's a lot of things that can move. It's interesting. Luka or Trae Young for Rookie of the Year. Luka Doncic and Trae Young are continuing their awesome rookie seasons. We got 40-point games. We got rookies beating the Golden State Warriors. If we have rookies hitting game winners. If you had to pick right now, who would be the Rookie of the Year? Are you taking Luka or Trae Young?
That's tough. I think my gut says Luka, but I'm thinking that Trae Young really has stepped it up in the second half of the season. My gut instinct is Luka, but I wouldn't be mad at either, to be honest. You can flip a coin at this point.
I think Trae Young has shown flashes of greatness for the last 3 months that has surpassed Luka Doncic's performances. I think right now it's very close, and this last stretch of basketball is really going to determine it. If the NBA allows Luka to win Rookie of the Year, it helps the European relations in the league, right?
I think it's less about that and more the fact that, so Trae Young has shown these flashes in the second half of the season, and Luka has been consistently good all year. That's really what it amounts out to be. Luka is averaging 21, 22, 7, and 6. And Trae Young is averaging 18, 3, and 8, something like that. So, but it has been coming on strong in the second half versus where Luka just started great, and it's just been consistent throughout the entire year. So I think at the end of the day, if you try to if their stats cancel out, then we look at his team performance, and both of the teams been bad too. Right. The Mavericks have 3 more wins. Okay, cool. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Like, you can just flip a coin at this point, because I think that they will reward the consistency of what Luka has been doing versus the fact that Trae has picked it up in the second half, but Luka's just been consistent the entire season. So
I'm voting for Trae Young only because Trae Young has dealt with a lot of hate, coming into the league.
Definitely.
People thought that Luka was a better prospect. People thought that Trae Young's comparisons to Stephen Curry were overrated, but that's a narrative created by like the media, right?
Yep.
Luka really didn't have to deal with a lot of that, and for Trey to come on so as strong as he has towards the end of the season has impressed me, despite everything that's happening. Just despite the haters, despite the, people, critics saying his lack of passing is an issue, or he doesn't see the floor well, he makes bad decisions. Well, he's a rookie. So you gotta spread the criticism around, and then you gotta see in those big moments how he steps up. And I think Trae Young has stepped up tremendously in big moments recently. So like you said, it's a flip of a coin. But
let's look at the last 5 games they both played, and I'm just gonna blindly say numbers, and then you just tell me which ones. All right, we got 24-11-9, 29-13-10. 24-5-6, 13-10-3, 23-11-10. Then we got 26-4-4, 26-5, 21-4-12, 23-2-11, 32-6-11.
I'm taking the first set of stats, and I know the first who's dropping the first set of stats. I think
it's less about the stats, but just like, you know what I mean, like
it's just so great.
I think for saying is that they have both been on a tear. As like Luke, but I think the difference is Luka has been doing that the entire season. You know what I mean? Like and Trae is on an absolute tear in the second half of the season. So I think that's really where the difference is. I mean, really, realistically, for the last 10 games, Trae only has a one non-20-point game. He's been on a tear post All-Star break. I just think if he was doing what he's doing now
at the beginning of the season,
All-Star break, then I'm probably thinking a different way.
I agree. Well, it's going to be a toss-up. If I had to vote, I would give it to Trae, but I think Luka's going to get it. And I wouldn't be mad
either way. I wouldn't be mad either way, to be honest.
I wouldn't either. It's great for the league. The league has a really good star problem right now.
Well, that's the thing. They separated themselves from everybody else. Like, there's not another conversation for anybody else to even be a part of. No Colin Sexton, no DeAndre Ayton, even though Ayton's not having a bad year. But that just shows you how good their year has been, that he's having a successful season. I mean, he's averaging a double-double. But nobody cares.
Right. on a rebuilding team. So... keep watching. Trae, Luka watch. Everybody's watching. Jay, I got a new segment for you. It's called Flagrant, ? And your job is to give a situation that I bring to your attention, either a flagrant 1 or a flagrant 2.
Yep.
There was a situation in Norway where a ship broke down at sea, and 1,300 people had to be airlifted from the ship to land. There is video online of this ship stuck in wave crest where furniture and the ceiling is being destroyed while people are sitting on the boat. Is this a flagrant 1, flagrant 2, or a flagrant 3?
Is there a flagrant 3? Flagrant 3 exists? Is that a real thing?
I think it's a real thing in this situation.
Okay. I think it depends on what's the reason for the boat breaking down. Is it user error? Is it, you know what I mean?
The reason the boat broke down is because the engine went out, the power went out on the boat.
Okay.
If you go to the Pine Podcast Instagram page, you'll see a saved video. Check it out there.
Was it preventable?
I'm not sure. I don't think so. I'm not sure.
That changes for me. So I think that's flagrant 1.
You think it's a flagrant 1 because it's preventable?
No. It's flagrant 1. Wait. What's the lowest one?
The lowest one is a flagrant 1.
It's a flagrant 1 then. Yeah, because if it's not, like, if they can't control that, like, what are they supposed to do? They got help. People got helped, right? Like the ship didn't sink and everybody died, right?
No, it wasn't a Titanic situation, but it looked like it had the potential to be.
Okay, so everybody got help. We're good. People had cell phone service. They had some help out to people on radio work. Like, then all right, yeah, flagrant 1. Like they had control over that.
Yeah, I need you to go and look at the video.
Okay, I'll take a look at the video.
Look at it right now. It might change your mind whether it's a flagrant 1, 2, or 3.
Nah, probably not. Nah, probably not.
I'm gonna give
if it's preventable. If it's preventable, like that's different. You know what I mean? But if it's not preventable, like what are you supposed to do?
I'm gonna give it a flagrant 2.
You're listening.
And this is why. When you go on a vacation, you are escaping all the foolishness, all of the drama, all of the aggravation in your life. Then you spend a lot of money on these vacations to just be taken care of, pampered, look at blue water. Imagine spending that amount of money and being on a ship where furniture is sliding across the deck and could possibly hit you.
Yeah, I mean, when you explain it like that, of course, right? Like, it's just like anybody. I paid a lot of money to get on the airplane and it crashes, right? Right? Like that's bad. But
oh God,
like I can't. There's some things that are beyond our control, and if there's an error in the fact that like they did an engine check and then they just neglected something, then yeah, that's a bigger issue. You know what I mean? But if everything checked out and everything's good, and then it just like the engine just decided, no, we're good, shut down. You know what I mean? Like there's no controlling that.
Facts.
That's divine intervention there.
Facts.
This was meant to happen to challenge these individuals to see how resilient they are, and here we are.
Analysis from Jay.
There it is.
We're gonna move on to pop.
Watching this, I would be upset if I was on that ship.
You would get, if you were on the ship, you would give it a flagrant.
But I'm not. But you're not. So flagrant 1.
All right. Jay, we're gonna move to pop culture, and everybody's talking about Game of Thrones. A lot of people don't know about it, but everybody should. It's a great show. It's on HBO, and the new season is starting April 14th. The last season, the final season of Game of Thrones. Are you excited about Game of Thrones?
No.
That's flagrant. Why are you not excited about Game of Thrones?
Okay, ask me a different question.
There are no other questions.
Yeah, no, ask me a different question. Ask me how many episodes of Game of Thrones I watched.
You I already know you haven't watched any episodes of Game of Thrones.
Okay, so I'm not excited about anything I haven't seen.
How are you preventing the hype of Game of Thrones from influencing you to watch it?
Very easily, actually. I haven't seen any episodes, so why would I be excited about the last season of a show I haven't watched?
You haven't been seeing promos?
No.
You haven't been seeing commercials?
No.
You haven't heard people talk about it?
People talk about it all the time. It doesn't necessarily influence in how I watch things. People talked about Bird Box, and people kept telling me to watch Bird Box. I still don't watch Bird Box.
Well, you just watched Captain Marvel.
It was good. I was going to see that anyway.
Okay.
It's a difference. If I had already watched Game of Thrones, like, and I was into it, maybe a season or 2 in, maybe I feel a little different. I haven't watched a single episode to this day, still.
Jay,
so
you got homework. You got to watch Game of Thrones. It's good. It's literally.
I hear that. One day, I will get to it.
So you're gonna watch till it's all over. Everything's over. The final season's over, and then you're gonna watch it.
Yep, probably.
Contrarian.
When I've run out of everything else to watch. There's nothing against Game of Thrones, just not my priority.
It's Game of Thrones shade right now. I rock with Game of Thrones. It's gonna be really good. I'm excited. Jay, I thought you would be excited about it too.
I didn't start watching Sons of Anarchy until the last season was about to debut.
See, that's something I haven't watched. I have not. I've heard about it. I heard the hype, but I never tried to check it out.
Yeah. So what? So you answer that question for yourself.
But Game of Thrones and Sons of Anarchy are
whatever your answer is why I haven't watched Game of Thrones.
Well, Game of Thrones is like on a different level of Sons of Anarchy.
Why?
It's like
you ever seen this? How do you know?
It's a global phenomenon right now.
Sons of Anarchy was too.
Not like Game of Thrones. No, it's not even close. Not even close.
Sam Crow, man.
Not even close.
You gonna watch Sons of Anarchy and be like, damn, I kind of wish I kind of watched this earlier.
A game that I told you about that you were kind of skeptical about at first because you said you weren't that good. The Division.
Yep.
Is now in its first week after being released. Jay, how do you feel about it so far?
I'm enjoying it. I'm still trash, but I'm good enough to be able to, enjoy it and not feel like I'm wasting my time or wasting my money on it. So it's entertaining. It's enjoyable. You play with a group of friends. It's even more fun, which is not really a good turn of phrase, but it's funner when you're playing with friends, but even playing solo, you can find some enjoyment. It's a very big map, a lot to explore, a lot of collectibles, things to pick up. It's a lot. There's just a lot of things to do, and it just feels good. It's a good feeling shooter. I never feel like it's being unfair in terms of targeting and really getting shots off and doing things that
it feels
you
balanced.
would do in other shooter games. Like, it just feels, it feels good. I feel like when I've played Call of Duty in the past, I can shoot somebody in the face 150 times and then they shoot me twice and I'm dead. It's not the case here. So
the Division is a huge improvement from the first one. I like it a lot. I'm trash when people send me requests to join them or they're like, need assistance. I just ignore it because I'm trash. But I'm gonna do a better job. I like the fact that you can just.
You don't be trying to play with none of us when we play other games either. Too.
Listen,
so
I'm always working.
We be on Red Dead. You be not wanting to play. We be playing Division. You don't want to play.
Listen,
man.
I'm always working, Jay. As soon as I get free time, you'll see me hop on all those games. I promise. That is a guarantee. I try to get like an hour in a day. Like I got an hour in before the pod today. And I saw y'all playing 2K. I don't have 2K19.
You could have just said, "Hey, let's play Division."
I could have
Cool.
I could have got all of y'all on to play Division.
Yeah,
I didn't know I had that much juice.
You could have got me, Ro, Sam. Yeah, we all switch over.
All right, next time I'm on, I'm Monday. Let's play.
I got a job too, Ro.
I got one too. That's what I'm saying. What time?
Well, I mean, I work till 5, but 5 when I get off is 8 for you. So
We'll figure it out. We will figure it out. The Division's a dope game. Everybody go check it out. Oh, and I also heard this is probably more in your arena. Cuphead is coming to the Switch. I still got to get a Switch, man.
Yeah, I'll probably play it.
I'm excited for it.
Now it's gonna come to Switch. I'll probably play it. Yeah.
Jay,
You're
we've come to that time where we're gonna wrap the show. Is there anything you want to tell the people?
So Cash App is no, I'm just playing.
No.
Appreciate y'all support.
We don't have any sponsors. Go ahead. Get your sponsors.
Appreciate y'all support. Keep supporting, listen, give feedback. Yeah, we want to engage with y'all. Follow us on Instagram, all the above.
Listen, follow us like Jay said on SoundCloud at The Real Pine, on Twitter at The Pine, on IG at The Pine Podcast, on YouTube at The Pine Podcast. This show has been brought to you by The Pine, providing you original content weekly.
You're listening to The Pine.
Thanks for listening.
Peace.